just when you thought the regular old flu was bad. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 movie outbreaks.
Rabies takes months for symptoms to show. This is taking minutes.
For this list, we're looking at those film outbreaks that have had some of the most disturbing, deadly, or just plain gross effects on the human population. Wash those hands and get your antibacterial spray ready.
We're all gonna get it.
Number 10, Mutated Rabies, Quarantine. Oh, dogs. You gotta love them. Unfortunately, man's best friend was at least partially responsible for the outbreak of mutated rabies that descended upon the tenants of this apartment complex.
We're standing outside an elderly woman's apartment. Neighbors heard screams and called 911. The fire department's about to begin the rescue process. Police say that she lives alone. She's not very social.
All hell breaks loose as this deadly rabies strain turns otherwise docile old ladies into flesh-eating monsters.
All right, we want to help you here, okay? Put your hands in the air for me, Mrs. Espinosa, okay? Put your hands in the air!
And if you can't be safe from a mutant rabies virus in the comfort of your crappy apartment, where can you be safe? Number 9, Andromeda, the Andromeda strain.
Where am I?
A special laboratory in Nevada. We brought you here from Piedmont. You're sick.
When you're up against an alien bug capable of killing all mankind instantly, you've got a tricky situation on your hands. The Andromeda virus is an extraterrestrial microbe that's essentially like bug spray to humans, striking them dead fast.
Fast. These people were cut down in mid-stride.
As scientists race to contain the virus, they quickly realize they may be no match for the mutation powers that keep the microbe growing.
When the bomb goes off, there'll be 1,000 mutations. Andromeda will spread everywhere. They'll never be rid of it.
Number 8, the T virus, Resident Evil. Wherever there's an underground research facility conducting illegal experiments, there's a man-made virus that can make zombies out of humans. And some dogs. Or at least, that's the lesson to be learned from the T virus.
Now that it has fed on fresh DNA, it will mutate.
You know things are especially bad when a computer is trying to do what it can to save mankind.
You're all going to die down here.
And in spite of having an antivirus, this particular illness is so potent that if you wait too long, you're as good as zombified.
Oh my God.
Number 7, the flesh-eating virus, cabin fever.
You don't look so good.
I know, there's this disease. I think all my friends are getting it. And do you just know where a hospital is around or something?
Talk about a spring break gone bad. If Hollywood has taught us anything, it's that when young co-eds go into the woods for basically anything, they're gonna get killed. This time, the killer comes in the form of a mysterious ailment that unleashes a feverish, bloody infection.
Don't f***ing come near me! Jeff! Stop! Stop! I don't want to get sick. I don't want any of us getting sick. But you two f***ing insist on touching her.
What's worse is that it doesn't seem to be much of a deterrent for sexy times. Number 6, the Reaper virus, Doomsday.
It's the Reaper virus.
Oh my God.
It's back.
Sometimes the best laid quarantines can go awry. It's difficult to imagine an entire country having to be forcefully isolated from the rest of the continent. But when there's a deadly virus on the rampage, it can get that serious.
Leave the dying to die.
This virus is so deadly and so rampant that the rest of the UK basically says, sorry Scotland, and leaves the country to fester and devolve behind a 60-foot wall. Cold-blooded. Number 5, virus, 12 monkeys.
5 billion people died in 1996 and 1997. Almost the entire population of the world.
The plot may be a little confusing, but one thing in this movie is pretty clear. A deadly virus will eventually force mankind underground.
The thing mutates. We live underground. The world belongs to the dogs and cats. We live like worms.
The virus is apparently so deadly, scientists have to figure out a way to travel back in time to deal with it. New, advanced technologies have to be developed in order to even begin to tackle the illness. It's clear that this is one particular nasty that's not to be messed with.
You might say that we're the next endangered species. Human beings.
I think you're right, man.
Number 4. The Krippin virus, I Am Legend.
Vaccine trials continue. I'm still unable to transfer my immunity to infected hosts. Krippin virus is elegant.
Just like in 1971's original, The Omega Man, a deadly virus has ravaged most of the human population, leaving only mutant beings hell-bent on death and destruction. In this modern update, the virus was developed as a means to cure cancer, but you know how these things go. One minute you're trying to find the cure for cancer, and the next you've killed almost everyone on Earth. That's one big oops.
Every single person that you or I has ever known is dead!
Number 3. Meningoencephalitis virus 1, contagion.
Before we were married, my wife had a relationship with a man in Chicago named John Neal. Is John Neal sick? Did we get this from him?
Who knew that having an affair could potentially lead to the death of 26 million people? Well, after some careful investigation, experts find out it didn't. But this deadly virus, that initially presents as a cold, causes a worldwide mortality rate that's way more devastating than a broken heart.
And then she douses everything in hand sanitizer after I leave. I mean, she's overreacting, right?
Not really. And stop touching your face, Dave.
While scientists struggle to deal with a global outbreak and the widespread ensuing panic, there are those that just want to come to terms with infidelity.
The virus will be the least of our worries. It will tip over now.
We just need to make sure that nobody knows until everybody knows.
Number 2. Motaba, Outbreak.
Listen to the way it rolls off your tongue. Motaba. Well, you know, it sounds like a perfume.
It always comes back to humans screwing something up. A feverishly deadly virus that could have been investigated almost 30 years prior winds up in the US and poses an incredible threat to the population.
Christ, Sam, I opened this guy up. Looked like a bomb went off inside. His pancreas, liver, kidney, spleen, all the organs were liquefied.
After the virus mutates and ends up airborne, it becomes a question of whether or not to eviscerate an entire town while turning the virus into a biological weapon.
But now the virus comes here and 2 kids die, and we could have stopped it right then and there, but we don't because we have to protect the perfect biological weapon.
Weaponized germs are the worst. Before we unleash our top pick on the population, here are a few honorable mentions.
Did we or did we not request a transfer for him this morning?
Each patient shall choose his own bed.
It's a corridor.
Number 2.
She loved you very much.
Number 1. The Rage virus, 28 days later.
The chimps are infected. Infected with what? Rage.
As the name implies, this virus took less than a month to decimate the human population. Given that it takes less than 30 seconds to turn its host into a frothing man-beast with murderous intent, it's easy to see how things went so bad so quickly.
By the time they tried to evacuate the cities, it was already too late. The infection was everywhere. The army blockades were overrun.
In less than a minute, you can be flipping through channels on the tube, then disemboweling your own grandmother. Do you agree with our list? What deadly movie virus would you not want to catch? For more entertaining top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.